Well, I have just a few things to kind of wrap up this important topic on measured quantities and significant figures and how do you round your answers. We talked about two types of exact numbers. Sounds like a good test question. I don't know if I've ever used it or not, but exact numbers you can get by counting, okay? So for instance, there are so many people in the room, it's not plus or minus one, you know how many exact people or how many pennies are on a table. Counting, that's an exact number. And there's also what we call by definition. Sorry, I'm not able to spell right now. But by definition, an example of by definition is within the English system, you would tell me 1 foot is exactly equal to what? 12 inches. And that's exact. There are a lot of other exact ones. We talked about the metric system is all exact. The relationship between an inch and centimeter are all exact. But my point here is whether you're doing, if you're using one of these that is in your calculation, that you're multiplying or dividing or adding or subtracting, then they bring no uncertainty, and so you don't round according to the significant figures there. Just kind of quickly, and I'm not going to work this out for you, but we're going to soon be working problems using what I call the factor label method. And let's just say you wanted to convert 7.35 inches, you wanted to convert that to feet, okay? And you're like, I have no idea. We'll talk about how that is. But I'm going to tell you what we're going to do is you're going to take that first term, 7.35 inches. I like to put it over 1. And then you're going to actually use the relationship between inches and feet to do the conversion. So you guys would hopefully tell me there is what? 1 foot is exactly, like I say above, equal to 12 inches. And in the factor label method, what we're going to do is use a ratio here from this equivalency statement, okay? And it's one of the things like I told you the first day. If you know if I have inches in the bottom, if I have inches in the top and inches in the bottom, what do? They're going to cancel. That's right. And I'm going to go ahead and put units of feet up here. And I'm going to go ahead and put 1 foot is exactly equal to 12 inches. That's it. That's our first factor label problem. Now I'm going to go ahead and cross off my units of inches, which is great. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted inches to go away. We want to be left with feet. So we have units of feet, which is perfect. Now my point here is, since we're kind of multiplying and dividing here, we count significant figures and round according to the term with the fewest significant figures. I got what? 3 sig figs up here. Okay, and according to this, and I know I took a little bit of time, I didn't necessarily need to take to show you this, but this actually, since it's exact, okay, there is no uncertainty introduced. Okay, and since there's no uncertainty introduced, we don't have to count significant figures in this term. So we would round according to 3 significant figures. There. I know that was probably more than you wanted to know, but that's what I mean by an exact number. You don't have to, doesn't introduce any uncertainty, you don't have to round according to them. The next slide just kind of summarizes again what we talked about in this part. These are here to stay. So this class is very kind of accumulative. It builds on itself. So some classes are very kind of isolated. Each unit is isolated. This one, units are not isolated, so you're going to have to know this throughout the semester. If you're adding or subtracting, you round according to decimal places, and it's always fewest. If you're multiplying or dividing, you round according to significant figures, and again, it's always fewest. And my goodness, this is a bold slide. So I mentioned that I'm going to hold you accountable, and I am throughout the semester, beginning right now. And we're going to have some exposure to this in all of our lab, or many of our labs. But if you have any measured quantity, okay, you're going to have to write the correct number of significant figures, whether that's like a measured quantity that you measured from a ruler. Okay, we're going to kind of estimate between gradations, or whether that is a measured quantity that you got from a calculation. If you're multiplying and dividing with that calculation, you round according to significant figures. If you're adding and subtracting within that calculation, you round according to decimals. And then we're on to our dun 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 assignment side.